Welcome back, everybody. Today's book is Zoe and the Dragon by Jane Andrews. Oh, there's a little dragon buddy. And there's Zoe doing a little dance. At last, everything looked bright and beautiful in the Fairy Queen's garden again. Last week, the naughty elves had picked every single flower in the garden, which had made the Fairy Queen very angry. But with the help of fairies, now new flowers were blooming again. Zoe and Pip painted signs that said "No Elves" and posted them throughout the garden. No elves! No elves! Just as they were about to leave for the day, they heard some quiet sobbing. "It's coming from behind that flower pot," said Zoe. Both fairies flew over to get a better look. "Oh dear, poor dragon," said Pip. "Whatever is the matter?" The dragon told the fairies how everyone laughed at him because he wasn't scary. "The animals in the wood giggle, and the elves just fall about laughing," he said between sobs. I can't even breathe fire." Zoe and Pip comforted him and promised him that he would come back and check on him the next morning. But that night the elves came back to the garden. They paid no attention to the no elves signs. They picked nearly every flower, they made mud pies, and they threw them everywhere. They broke the branches off trees and bushes. They were naughtier than ever. And the dragon just hid helplessly in a corner. See if you can find the dragon's hiding place. There he is. The next morning, the Fairy Queen was furious. She was red with rage. Her garden was a complete and utter mess. So she called a meeting later that morning. Everyone came, and Zoe and Pip brought the dragon. "This is an emergency," the Queen announced. "We need a guard for the garden." Then she looked around at everyone and spotted the dragon. "You will be our new guard." The dragon gulped. He was too frightened to speak, but Zoe whispered in his ear, "Don't worry, Pip and I have a plan." The fairies led the dragon deep into the castle. He followed them up long, windy staircases, through corridors, and around corners, until eventually they came to a door. The door opened into a room full of costumes and party clothes. The three of them had a wonderful time dressing up in different costumes. Then Zoe picked out a cloak, some gloves, and a hat, and the fairies set to work. Pip cut some holes in the cloak for the dragon's eyes, ears, arms, and wings. "These will make you look really scary," said Zoe. The two fairies fluttered around the dragon, helping him dress, and when they finished, they steered him towards the mirror. "Wow," said the three of them together. The dragon hardly recognized himself. Later that night, Zoe and Pip hid in the garden with the dragon and waited for the elves to appear. Soon they could see naughty little elves sneaking out from behind their hiding places. "Now!" shouted Zoe and Pip. The dragon took a deep breath and started to run, flapping his arms. "Ah! A dragon!" shrieked the elves, running as fast as they could to get out of the garden. But just as the last of the elves reached the hedge, the dragon suddenly stumbled and stepped onto his cloak, pulling it off. "Oh no," whispered Zoe. There was a silence as the dragon looked at the elves, and the elves looked back at the dragon. Then the dragon took a very long, deep breath. "Roar!" thundered the dragon, and a huge jet of fire blew straight over the heads of the elves, singeing their hats. This surprised the dragon almost as much as it surprised everybody else. "Wow!" cheered Zoe. "You really are fierce." News of the dragon's triumph spread fast. The next morning the Fairy Queen congratulated him. "With a fierce and brave dragon like you," she said, "my garden is safe forever from those naughty elves." And the dragon felt very proud of himself and of his friends. This is him looking pretty proud. The end. Thanks for watching. See you next time.